Paul Petrino's staff here at the University of Idaho loaded with Montana connections, and that comes on each side of the big in-state rivalry between the Bobcats and the Grizzlies. In fact, on the defensive side right now, one of the great minds in this football game led guys like Huntsberger and Young to All-American status with the Montana Grizzlies way back in the early 2000s. Coach Mike Breske.
Well, I've been fortunate to be part of Coach Petrino's staff. This is my third year.
Few defensive coordinators in the Northwest have the resume of Mike Breske. A former cornerback at South Dakota State, he broke into the coaching world in 1981 at Northern Iowa and has enjoyed a career spanning nearly 40 years with stops all across the country. The references on the bottom of his resume include a who's who in the coaching world: Joe Glenn, Mike Leach, Craig Bull, and now Paul Petrino. Breske joined Petrino's staff after the 2014 season, once again linking his Montana connections in the coaching profession.
You know, he's a Montana background, know of the Petrinos. His dad, you know, is in the Hall of Fame in Butte, and, you know, there's just so many coaches have come out of that area. I think that's the Mint restaurant and bar. They got that Hall of Fame coaches room, and boy, you go in there and there's some pictures hanging on the wall.
The Montana Mint is just one of the many establishments in the Treasure State where athletics conquer the conversation. But before Breske was standing on the sidelines of Washington Grizzlies Stadium, he was joining forces with a future Montana legend, Joe Glenn.
He got the head job. We were at Northern Colorado, and Division II program, very successful. Coach did a great job, and went back to Missoula. He had been up there as an assistant, and so it was all new for me, not really knowing Montana. I'll never forget my first year. We played Hofstra the first game of the year, and rainy, wet game. Ended up losing to Hofstra, who was a very talented playoff team. And Sunday morning, there was a for sale sign on Coach Glenn's yard, and kind of woke me up about what Grizz football is all about.
For sale signs and complaints calling for a new staff quickly disappeared in that 2000 season as Glenn, Breske, and the Grizzlies rattled off 13 straight wins to qualify for the championship game. Montana fell 27-25 to Georgia Southern in that title match, but returned to the finale and captured the program's second national championship the following season with a 13-6 victory over Furman. Following a quarterfinal appearance in 2002, Glenn accepted a job with the University of Wyoming, bringing Breske and other members of the staff along for the ride. Stops at North Dakota State, Washington State, and a second stint in Montana followed for Breske, who then joined Robin Flugrad's staff in Missoula in 2010. Though his focus is currently with the Vandals, Breske will always remember and appreciate his times in Montana, mentoring All-Americans Vince Huntsberger and Trey Young.
This summer, my wife and I were coming back and on our way to Sandpoint and drove through Cut Bank, and Huntsy's, you know, you just start thinking about that, and I believe he's a physician now. Trey Young, another one. The list goes on and on and on, and you know, they're all diehard Grizz.
Breske played a major role in bringing former Grizz defensive backs coach Eric Williams to Idaho, reuniting the pair from their time in Missoula. Though not true Montanans, they join the likes of Petrino, Troy Purcell, and Bobby Daly with their Big Sky Country background.
The Montana backgrounds, the type of kids that we've worked with over the years. I know Coach Daly, where he played his high school ball at, and being at the University of Montana, the type of kids that we were able to coach out of the state of Montana, and you know, that toughness, and that's what Coach Petrino preaches, you know, effort and toughness.
It's an attitude Breske has seen from many of his head coaches, from Bowl at North Dakota State to Mike Leach and the Washington State Cougars. But standing alongside Petrino gives Breske flashbacks to his days with Joe Glenn.
Coach Glenn was more of a special teams and you know, very outgoing. You know, he's going to sing the fight song everywhere. Coach Petrino is all about family issues, those type of things, academics, and the process, you know, the effort and toughness. And so all different type head coaches, but all successful.
Having Breske along for the ride certainly never hurt their cause. Richie Melby, MTN Sports.